Yeah, it's a big one, Owen, isn't it, for anybody involved in tourism, cafes, restaurants, the hospitality industry, hotels. This is a key decision, this social distancing rule, isn't it?
I don't think social distancing is really going to enter it. If the health authorities say 2 metres, nobody in tourism is going to say, 1.5 will do. They're looking at the implications for their business, but they're not questioning the rationale for the decision. Where they're coming from is what is going to be retrieved from this, how long it's going to be in place, and what measures do we have to make sure that we have an exit strategy from lockdown, because these things are more easily put in place than taken out of place. What we didn't want is each of the EU member states having a different exit strategy from their different lockdowns. Because part of the problem is when coronavirus arrived, all the member states ran their own way. The EU Commission has a tourism plan, and already some of the member states are saying, OK, we're going to take bits of this and we're going to put our own strategy in place. We need a lot of clarity. Tourism in international business. We want to be able to tell international tourists and indeed domestic tourists what they can expect
and when they expect in Europe,
when they come to Ireland.
If I'm lucky enough to book a hotel in August at some point, if that's allowed, what's it going to be like? Will it be without a bar, without a spa? What will the experience be like?
August we should be through the phases of the opening, but uncertainty haunts every step of this. Necessarily so. Decisions will be made on what developments happen and new cases. But what the tourism sector is facing is a wipeout. There are no tourists in Ireland. There's no prospects of tourists in Ireland. People's mortgages have to be paid. It's 10% of our economy, as most people know, and it's a very important 10% because it's in the rural, the bits that the other parts of the economy don't get. They need not just the strategy and the ideas which the leadership task force hopefully will be coming up with, but they also need a little bit of certainty provided on what supports are in place for them and where they have to turn when the cash runs out. Some of our hotel people are looking at having no cash until March 2021. When that starts, and it's hitting them at a time when cash reserves are traditionally low, entering the summer season.
So what kind of supports are you talking about? And you're on the task force. You and others on that task force will have to come up with ideas. Are you talking about reduced VAT rates or doing away with rates altogether? Employee incentive schemes? What will help them to keep going in the interim?
Anything that gets the little bit of cash that they have, keep it in place. Anything that encourages what is diminished international tourism is out there to come to Ireland. Anything that gets a little bit of an increase of a market share from a smaller market. All the things that we need, including this message about air access, this as I call the quarantine measures a sideshow, because they seem to be out of sync with what's happening internationally, certainly within Europe, that we are catching up so much of our energy and our time and our resources on a 14-day mandatory quarantine for people coming into the country. To get people on those aircraft, they're going to have to be tested. The airlines are going to have very high standards. The airports are going to have high standards. Is that where our resources, our discussion should be directed, as it is being this morning? Let's look at what's happening in August. Hopefully quarantine will mandatory 14-day quarantine will be gone. And then we have to look at the bits of tourism that are left and try and rebuild them.
Before I finish with this part of the discussion, you were telling me that Ireland has an opportunity here to rebrand itself altogether. What do you mean?
Okay, it's a terrible situation. We're going to be rebuilding our tourism, but let's look at what's happening internationally, because internationally tourism is really shattered. Is it going to be a time for long queues for Pirates of the Caribbean or 5,400 cabin cruise ships? Or is it going to be a time for celebrating the open air? I don't think 2 metre social distancing counts on a mountain in Kerry when the wind is blowing at the level that it does. You're not going to... so we can actually deliver, if we keep our health record clean, and that's why the health safe, that's a matter for the health experts. But from the tourism side, if we have a product that we can deliver back to the international marketplace that sets Ireland aside from its competitors and from other locations as a place which is green and safe and safer, because the consumer, the people who decide on Irish tourism are not going to be the hoteliers, the publicans, or even the politicians, or even the airline people. It's going to be the consumer. If we get international consumers convinced that Ireland has something to offer in the post-COVID world, that's one of the jobs the task force will be
so there's
facing.
an opportunity there. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Eoghan Corry, travel journalist and member of the Tourism Recovery Task Force.
Thank you,
Thank you
Cormac.
very much indeed.